Concept Bear Armor by Rustine is exactly what the title states, the concept bear armor that was found in the early renditions of possible designs for Geralt and the, obviously, bear armor. I know it's Usherin or Ursherin. Listen, I can't pronounce some of these weird Polish words. You know me, I'm an American. I'm not cultured. But overall, the presentation in this is fantastic. There are multitudes of styles to choose from, each one fitting a personal playstyle or personal color preference. Me personally, I prefer mine quite darker. Since most of the bears that I've come across in The Witcher were mostly of darker fur colors, a few browns, I found that the master version of the ultimate bear armor was just a little too light for me. So the alternate version fit me perfectly. It was a very dark design that truly said badass, or said I will kill you violently, which is the message I'm trying to bring across as a Witcher. I feel that the Neckers should definitely respect and understand my personal preference and taste and color palette on my clothing. Hunt Re-Imagined ReShade with supreme ultimate graphical options by firemanaf. Since the release of this preset, I have worked hard to balance out the settings to make an enjoyable Witcher 3 experience without taking away from the default game. With my preset, you will not find oversaturation or desaturation, no overblown contrast or deafening shadows, no oversharpening or distancing grain effect. You will not find dark areas darker but atmospheric, almost cozy like feeling in the cottages in the buildings. You will find the yellowish light from the fire are replaced by warm soft glow. You will see gorgeous sunrises and sunsets, yet gloomy stormy weather, but overall an enhancing effect. I hope you enjoyed and thank you again for trying it. This preset includes Vanilla Toussaint and obviously the vanilla game with Super Turbo Lighting Mod or Supreme and Ultimate Graphical Options add-on. This is optional. Full quality and performance versions for ReShade 1.1 and 2.0, MXAO and IL add-ons. This mod has a newly updated with slight color adjustments and uses tuning palette. Works well with vanilla places like the White Orchard, Velen, and Skellige, as well as Toussaint. Note, if you want the fog removal and view distance effect of Super Turbo Lighting Mod but do not want to use Super Turbo Lighting Mod, check out this mod, Enhanced View Distances. I recommend you try with Atmospheric Nights, with the mod's darkness setting to about 50 to 70 to look awesome at night. The vanilla game I absolutely love by CD Projekt Red did an outstanding job, but I felt was slightly too colorful for my taste. This is a war-ravaged land. I tried to tone down the blues and the greens a bit without taking away from the initial feel of the game. You will find the color is still there, but brought down a bit to add an atmospheric tone. The colors are slightly darker, such as the grass and the trees and the shadows, adjusted to add depth. Light for the sun and fire will be warmer as opposed to that yellowish look. Nights will be slightly darker as well. This was by no means an attempt to get an E3 image. My overall consensus of the mod is, it is quite beautiful. This is something that, honest to me, feels slight in the sense of it has a slight taste of fantasy color reshade. That's probably not what the mod author was shooting for, but that's the feeling I was kind of getting at points. But overall, it is not something that is overbearing, overpushed, oversaturated as the mod author intended it to be. Therefore, for what he was striving for, he has completely and utterly achieved. This does come with a very much an optional add-on. Now, when I say optional add-on, I mean this is optional and you need to think twice before using it. In the sense of, if your computer isn't really handling this at ultra or high settings, then you'll probably not want to use the ultimate options, because this thing will slow your rig down crazy. I'm using an i7-4790K water-cooled at about 4.6 gigahertz overclock with a 980 Ti boosted to about 1500 megahertz. Now this is the only way I could keep myself from dipping into the 30s. Now if you're running the i7-4790K and the 980 Ti at stock clocks, you can see in certain areas at ultimate presets with a dip as low as 28 FPS, but predominantly you'll be in the 30s, especially in the woodland areas, because this adds so much more texture quality, more foliage, vegetation, whatever you want to call it, shrubbery, so on and etc. This can become insanely demanding in the wooded areas. So if you cannot stand to play any game at 30 FPS or The Witcher, then you'll want to stick to ultra presets. You can use this with your ultra presets and be fine, but do not put in the optional ultimate graphical option unless you are hell-bent on slowing down your machine, because it is a frame killer, as the mod author has said. Now, the only way that I could see logically using this at the way the mod author may have intended at its perfect ultimate way is if you had, I don't know, a 980 SLI, a 980 Ti SLI. Maybe you could use a 1070. I'm not 100% sure it's that beefy. You definitely need, you need 1070 SLI. I was thinking 1080 at first. You could probably use a 1080 and stay above 40 to 50 frames, even in wooded areas. Don't quote me on that because I don't have one. NVIDIA felt I wasn't worthy of testing it. So I'll have to buy one like everyone else and then write them angry hate messages, which I will do, until they pay me not to. And I will be a total corporate show. You heard it first, I admit it. I could be bought and sold. I have no integrity, but that's neither here nor there. This is about the ReShade. Now, if you have a supremely beefy rig with a good crossfire like a 390X, 980 Ti, SLI, etc., then you can run this thing fully maxed out and enjoy it in all its glory. I can only imagine what this looks like at 4K. It also does a fantastic thing of giving you the option of adding more NPCs to areas, which for Novigrad in, the Kingdom area or the city areas, it makes perfect sense to have more people walking around being busy and doing stuff. It's perfect. I don't know why this wasn't an option in the vanilla game, but after having it set on, it can really kill your frames. Now, I have added video, and I hope you're watching, of just how choppy the game can get at 30 FPS when it's completely maxed out with this ReShade mod and change. Now, if you are shrewd, like most PC gamers are, you can find the perfect medium for this ultimate options while maintaining a steady 60 FPS. I was just knocking out the stuff you absolutely want at ultimate and then scaling back shadows, draw density, and even the foliage. Like instead of having trees and grass at ultimate, knock it back to ultra or maybe even high. Definitely knock back those shadows and you will see a 50 FPS to a 60 FPS minimum at the very least. And then you could enjoy most of this mod and not really notice the difference between ultra and ultimate without it actually hurting your computer, killing your frames, ruining your experience if you can't stand, not playing at 60 FPS. But if you're totally fine with the cinematic quotation marks 30 FPS, then by all means, get this one and knock it out of the park and enjoy yourself. My overall consensus on this is that it is another great ReShade for the Witcher community. Is it worth checking out if you've got a good enough PC? Yes. This comes with a multitude of options, performance versions, so on and so forth. I figured I'd try the ultimate version to give you an idea of just how demanding it is before you try it yourself and knock yourself into like the 15 to 20 FPS ballpark. I figured, if I'm going to go, I might as well go big. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're going to go look for a hooker, you look for the biggest skank you can find because you want to see if you can outlast chlamydia. I don't know what I'm thinking. Don't do that, please. You're probably in your 30s, you've got a wife and kids, and there's probably some hooker you've been looking at named Brown Sugar. Okay, once again, it's neither here nor there, and I should just probably end it here. This gets my full endorsement, and I would say if you're interested in a new ReShade that has just popped around, you want something that's got that right level of cinematic but not too much, with a little extra bling and flair and pizzazz and zippity-doo-dah-day, as Judy Garland would say, then this is the ReShade for you. I'm going to get out of here because this video is far too long and I haven't had a drink of water and a very few breaths of air. And apparently those are very important for human beings, that's what my doctor says. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you as always for tuning into my channel. Remember, I have a Twitch and a Twitter. I was informed that the link to my Twitch videos is wrong because I'm a douchebag, so I'll fix that by the time you click that link. And if it's wrong again, you know what, fuck, you don't even need to subscribe to me for Twitch because, who needs to subscribe to a man who doesn't even know his own Twitch channel? The next thing you're going to find out is I don't know my own phone number. Okay, I'm done, seriously though. I'm out.